survive.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS SEC tournament semifinals post-game show. Tennessee has a heartbreaker today, falls to 73-68 to Alabama. Just an excellent first half by Tennessee, but second half not so much. Tennessee blows a 15-point lead with 16 minutes to go in the basketball game. But my name's VAWLS JP.
I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indy Kid.
Fellas, that's a gut punch of epic proportions. I'm telling you, that is typical Tennessee sports to a T right there. Just a gut punch for this fan base, for this basketball team. Hate to see it. As good as they played in the first half, Tennessee really took it to Bama. Really played an excellent first half. But got very sloppy in the second half. Shots weren't falling as good, and some very questionable officiating as usual. But any kind of early thoughts as we get into this semifinal loss? Got anything, Dauber?
Yeah, I mean, that's the Tennessee that we've seen. Kind of Jekyll and Hyde from half to half. Looked great in the first half, and then got sloppy with the ball, turnovers, poor shot selection in the second half as well. And then, like you said, had some questionable officiating by the SEC crew. That's based out of Alabama.
Birmingham.
So, but it's nothing that we don't expect. But I'm not going to blame it on that. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to blame Gaines either. Tough situation for the kid to be put in. Sit for 2+ hours on the bench, get thrown into the game, make a heck of a defensive play, and then be expected to go to the free throw line cold and hit a couple shots. I mean, there are guys in the NBA that get paid big bucks that don't hit their foul shots. So. Tough situation. Wish you would have made him. Hate it like heck for the kid. But we can still build off this. There's still momentum. You look at Alabama's a good team. We took them off their game. What'd they end up from 3-point?
They was only 20-some percent. That's what's exactly 25%. 7 of 28. That's what's frustrating about it.
played good defense. Played a good team well. Just got to close it out a little bit more. But now on to the big dance and to get ready for that.
Yeah, Indy Kid, what's your initial opening thoughts on today's basketball game?
Disappointing loss for sure, but I think there's a lot of positives to take out of it. You just got to finish strong. I mean, that's what it is. And, I hate to complain. I mean, when you blow a 15-point lead or what have you, but I really feel the officiating changed how Tennessee played the second half when you had about 3 calls in a row within a minute go against Tennessee. And you know what? Hats off. Tennessee come back and won. Yeah, you suck too, Mel and Matt. So there you go, bud. But, we'll see come tournament time. I like how they're playing right now. I think this is the best we've seen them play for 2 weeks in a row in over a month right now. And Alabama is good, and they were missing one of their best players. There's no doubt about it. But, I hope that no fan blames Gaines on that. I have never felt worse for a player in my life than I did him. He got put in a tough situation. He made the play he was supposed to make. And, he unfortunately, he got put – like you said, Dauber, I mean, one of the greatest players ever, Shaq, he couldn't hit a free throw to save his life. And there's been others too. But, a lot to build off of. And I think we'll probably detail some stuff. I thought some of Rick's lineups were questionable. Of course, his hand got forced a little bit when James got in foul trouble as well. And we talked off air about how, the game changed a lot too when James went out in foul trouble with 12 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah,
he had 4 fouls. That was big right there.
That was the span of time when that league evaporated and the offense just could not get anything going.
Yeah, and I hope that no fans blame Gaines on that. I mean, what a situation to be put in right there. And the guy did his job, and unfortunately, he didn't deliver on it. Again, man, I've never felt worse for a player in my life than I did him. But, something that bothered me at the end, though, is we come out of a timeout, and that was the best that's the best they could draw up, was that shot they got in. I just thought that was a terrible, terrible coming out of a timeout, and you got Bailey just launching one up, especially when you still had, 4 seconds to go.
I knew whenever that they passed it to Bailey that it was going up. Yeah. That kid was shooting it.
Well, I think one of the things that hurt them some today is they got too dribble happy, and they did in that situation. Vescovi just kept dribbling it and about lost it. And then, I guess you can't blame Bailey in that situation trying to make a play, but I absolutely hate when you call a timeout and come out of it. And I think this has happened a bit under Barnes. You come out of it and can get no better of a look than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why Pons is not throwing it in. Number one, he's probably the last one of the 5 you want shooting the 3. Right.
Well,
there.
the second to last possession when just a minute left and Pons ended up bailing him out and hitting the 3.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
But there was way too much dribbling going on that possession as well. I don't know.
When this team tries to slow down, I'm telling you, I mean,
nope, done.
It just doesn't work. I mean, and I understand, whenever that you got a lead that certainly that you don't want to be throwing up stuff, with 20 seconds left on the shot clock and stuff. But this team, their half court offense is horrible. I mean, it's absolutely horrible.
I felt like I agree. I mean, I felt like with 5 minutes to go that they were just kind of going through the motions. I don't know if they were trying to kill clock or what, but it just seemed like they never picked the pace back up. And, you're right, man. I don't know. It bothers me when I think teams sometimes go into clock killing mode on it. I don't understand it. I mean, I'm one that I believe whatever's working, you don't go away from it.
Well, it's kind of like the same analogy when in football. These teams would go prevent or get conservative and build a big lead or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're fighting for their lives because they've sucked all the energy out of their team and all that. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I mean, obviously, Bama's defense really, really stepped it up in the second half. They took Keon out, but it was just there wasn't any rhythm in the second half, and I'll say it. A lot of it's the refs, and I mean it happens every single game. It doesn't matter. It's time and time again. And you can say I'm crying over spilt milk, whatever, but the referees change their way that they call these games. I mean, it happens all the time. And I've never, and even in the first half, Bama was getting called for a lot of charges, offensive charges. Well, then in the second half, it was Tennessee. I've never seen so many charge calls in my life, and I'm not sure what a charge really consists of now, because there's no way that those guys' feet were set. There's just no way. But me at this super chat right quick. Got Cody Branch with us. Appreciate it, Cody. $5 super chat. Cody's also a member of the Talkin VAWLS network. Appreciate you, Cody. He says these refs call the game backwards, boys. The officials need to be held fully accountable for bad calls. Well, Cody, there's a problem with that. The SEC is ran in Birmingham. They're not going to do anything at all to hurt their their number one seeds or the ones that they think have a chance to win any kind of championship. That's been proven. We've seen it time and time again. So, unfortunately, the SEC is content and happy because that's what that they want. But it's really ridiculous. Almost makes me want to even stop watching college basketball. I'll just be honest with you.
Way to go, Cody. You got conspiracy theory JP going now.
I'm telling you right now, it's not a conspiracy theory. It is the absolute truth.
Well, guys have mentioned it on here, and said it for the rule with the charge used to be you had to be set. Now, I can understand if a guy just runs down and throws a forearm or an elbow. Yeah, that's one thing. But guys had to be set. And two, that circle under the basket, if they're within that circle, that's a block foul as well. And then and another thing right there, Gaines should not have been the situation to shoot a free throw because the Alabama guy took, 3 to 4 steps?
Yes.
On that, and they didn't call it? I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if Gaines was on him or who it was, but they did their job right there, and the refs don't call it. I mean, that's probably even a travel in the NBA.
Oh, right yeah.
And they don't call that? I mean, come on.
And one of the worst calls that I remember in the second half was when Keon went up for the jump shot and he faked Petty out, and Petty got up in the air and came down on him and hit him, and they didn't even call a foul. I mean,
that wasn't the only missed traveling call as well.
Oh,
no.
No. I mean it. Yeah, this Euro step or whatever that guys are doing now, and the James Harden step back, a lot. And what about carrying the ball? I mean,
it's non-existent.
Guys are completely under it, cupping it, coming back over, and I mean, don't
get me wrong, any of that stuff.
There are guys for UT that do the same thing, but you couldn't get away with that in Shaq. they called everything.
No, I couldn't. I tried double dribbles, elbows, and everything. I always got called for fouls or turnovers.
I used to get called for I'd pump fake and then take off, and they'd call me for shuffling my feet when it's like you get a guy off the ground and I'm the one that gets penalized. I mean,
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the game. I guess it's so frustrating, but I mean, first half, Tennessee comes out and really plays excellent first half. Keon with 16 points. I thought Tennessee's offense was doing great. I mean, they were moving. They were driving to the basket. Keon and Springer both was, settling for those, 10, 15 foot jump shots. Tennessee wasn't jacking up threes. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tennessee only took, I think it was 7 threes, I think, in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. They ended up taking 21, looks like, here for the entire game. With that, but again, just a really great first half for Tennessee, and had that 9-point lead, expanded to 15 there to start the second half, and then the wheels fell off. Wheels fell off of it, but thought that defensively in the first half, Tennessee done an excellent job, and of course, Bama wasn't shooting great with that and everything. Really thought probably as good as Tennessee played in the first half. If you look back on it now, we probably should have had about a 14 or 15 point lead at halftime versus a 9-point lead. But any kind of thoughts or comments from you guys on that?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the start they got out to. And that's kind of looking back to the first game against Alabama. We kind of reversed the roles. We were hitting everything. Alabama was struggling, especially from 3-point. I think they up until the second half, two of their guys hadn't even scored. 2 of their main contributors, and then like you said, I think it was about the 15-minute mark was kind of when we started seeing that lead evaporate. When James went out of the game, that's a point where, like Indy Kid talked about earlier, some of the lineups got a little questionable. Uros was left in probably a little too long, and we were talking about in our group text during the game. How many times was he standing there in the paint with concrete feet, watching a guy run by him for a layup? I mean, at least, reach out your 4 foot long arm and grab him, get a foul on the floor, let him shoot free throws. Don't just give up an uncontested layup. But don't get me wrong, he played well. He played hard. He made some good plays. Had a couple big blocks. But it's the Tennessee team that we've seen. Great first half. Kind of let things slip away and get out of the game they were playing in the first half and the second. Volunteer Nation asking there, if Fulkerson would have played, would we have won? I don't know.
Who knows?
That's another thing. As the team's been Jekyll and Hyde all season, so is Fulkerson. So is Pons. Guys that coming into the season you expected a whole lot out of, that really hadn't had the production that you would have liked to have seen. I mean, Fulke's played well the last couple of weeks. More energy, more intensity. Kind of hate that he didn't get the chance to play. Hopefully he will be back healthy and able to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Hopefully we get a Friday game. Hopefully we get a Friday game, giving that extra day.
Yeah.
Let me hit this another $5 super chat by Cody Branch. Cody, we certainly appreciate it again, buddy. Said if we play like this in the NCAA tournament, then we will go at least 3 games before we lose. It's certainly possible. I think it was Indy Kid had mentioned that all of Tennessee's losses. I think he'd mentioned this a few shows ago. Every loss that Tennessee's had this year has been conference losses. Of course, I know the non-conference schedule was kind of halted some because of COVID and everything. But yeah, Tennessee won all their non-conference games. So definitely think if, and all of it depends on what kind of draw that they get and the matchups and so forth like that. But I think that if Tennessee could get a team that doesn't have some real big physical guys, I think that it's certainly possible with that. Tennessee gets some physical guys and some guys that can drive to the basket, then I think that this team could be in trouble for sure once the tournament starts. So with that, but Calvin here saying down 2 minutes, we jacked up that early 3, empty possessions beat us at the end, and second half 15-2 run hurt us. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it turned the whole basketball game. I mean, I was sitting here, looking over stats before we went live, and Tennessee built that 15-point lead with 16 something go in the second half, and 4 consecutive possessions. Tennessee had turnovers. And to me, that's the turning point in the basketball game. That's when Bama started that 15-2 run, and from then on, I just didn't have a real good feeling with that game with about 6 or 7 minutes to go, even when Tennessee was holding on to 3 or 4 point lead.
And I'll tell you the difference. You look at the first half, the second half. Alabama had I think a 7-0 run in the first half, and then we hit a 3, I believe, and we began a 9-0 run ourselves. We didn't come back. We didn't counterpunch in the second half and match that run. Alabama just kept chipping away, and then went on that run, and we couldn't recover. It was just too little, too late. And like I said, to me, I think the deciding factor in the game was James sitting on the bench with 4 fouls, because we saw earlier in the season. What did James miss? 3 games in a row, or two games in a row? I think it was
games, yeah.
Kentucky and the Ole Miss, a couple losses where he was out. He's kind of that glue guy in the lineup. You can count on him to give you some steady production, but I think he brings a leadership sense on the court. And I think just not having him out there really hurt this team in the second half, and it, really kind of turned the game right there because defensively we didn't get stops, and then offense just went cold, and it caused with Fulkerson being out, it caused the lineups to be a little questionable, and it contributed to Uros being out there probably longer than he should have. When he'd likely just be out there spelling somebody for a couple minutes, he had an extended run.
I was really surprised to see Uros get that much play today.
I was too.
I didn't think that. I thought Kamwa would play more, and I thought Gaines would probably have played more as well. But I was really really surprised by that. And yeah, I mean, he hurt us on the defensive end there a few times. I mean, when they would switch off and he'd just be standing there, and that was that Quinterly guy, I believe it was.
Yeah.
He was the one that absolutely killed us today with his drives and stuff like that. But yeah, it was certainly put him in some bad spots out there. But I thought it was interesting that he got as much game action today, considering that he hadn't played a whole lot. Kamwa had been the one that had came in and took some of Fulkerson's minutes and stuff when Fulkerson would go out and so forth like that. So curious as to what Barnes thought that Uros could do that Kamwa couldn't versus Bama. But was nice to see Uros get that big old slam. That was a pretty play for sure. So with that, but we got some guys talking about the seeding and so forth like that. I have no idea. I have no idea what this team will end up doing. What did we end up finishing season? Was it 18-9? I guess maybe overall is what we ended up finishing, or 18-8. What the final record was, but I have no idea. I mean, we've got teams now that had to, drop out of their conference tournaments because of COVID. So we don't know, what kind of impact that may end up having with it. I think Tennessee's probably either a 5 or 6 seed. That's what I would think that they would get.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. And they, going back to the COVID thing, there is a possibility that we may have some teams that are not going to be playing in the NCAA tournament. I know the Virginia coach was pretty disappointed talking to the media yesterday. I think they've got multiple players that tested positive. So that's something that could alter, a whole lot of the way the tournament's going to be set up. And could allow some teams that wouldn't have, made it into the tournament to kind of sneak in.
Yeah. I think 5 to 6 seed. I mean, it depends, because I saw where Duke said they weren't playing, and now they're saying they would not be able to accept an invitation.
How would they be able to? Don't they have a losing record?
I'm not sure what their record is. I know they were kind of right there in that first 4, last 4 out. So I don't know. I don't see how they would have helped themselves to get in, since they went out of the tournament for COVID. So they didn't do anything in their tournament to really help right there. But I wonder if they'll kind of have some alternatives or not alternate teams where somebody has to drop out for COVID. This team will replace or what have you. I mean, it could happen. I think from what I gathered, they will, and that, it could be anywhere from a 1 seed to a 16 seed that I guess an alternate will just go in their place. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've dreamed this up somewhere, but I keep saying 8, 7. Tennessee, I don't think is any lower than a 6 seed. I think 5-6. I think it's a travesty if they go any lower than that, based on their record, who they played, who they beat, and stuff. Going to be interesting to see it. And I saw something too with where the games are in Indiana. Different places have different protocols. So some of these teams who have had to drop out may not meet the protocol to even play. So,
Right.
Oh, really?
Strange, yeah. So I wonder how Virginia will be affected. If Duke gets in, how they'll be affected. Kansas, how Kansas may be affected by it as well. So that could, I don't know. Again, I don't know all the protocol with it, but that could make some difference right there, because you're looking at probably Virginia and Kansas being on the 4 seed line somewhere, 3-4. I don't know about Duke. I don't even know if Duke would have made it. Yeah, Donovan said Duke was 13-11, but it is Duke.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, a 13-11 Duke would get in over a 26-4 Belmont probably any day of the week, unfortunately.
Probably so, yeah. Yeah, probably so for sure. But
yeah, and Lucas made a point. Georgetown and Oregon State make big runs. That could screw over some bubble teams as well.
Yeah, because I think Georgetown's in their championship game, and I guess maybe Oregon State is too in the Pac-12.
I'm just not I'm not a big fan of conference tournaments, because especially these smaller schools, you dominate your regular season. You have one bad game, you don't make the tournament for it. And some team that has gone 10-25 for the year gets in because they had one good one. I just think it would improve the quality of the tournament so much if they just add a couple non-conference games, get rid of the conference tournaments, and then pick your tournament based on that.
Take the best 65.
You truly get the best teams over the course of a year, opposed to the best teams over the course of a weekend. And obviously the whole tournament's not picked over the course of a weekend, but Southern Conference, for example, I mean, how many times have you seen the team that won it get beaten or championship or something?
Right.
Like get knocked out of the tournament. Yeah.
Get knocked out, and then they don't get in at large or anything like that. And it happens in plenty of time. I mean, we've seen these teams who had one good weekend and gone in not even winning 10 games in a season. Is that really fair? I mean, it's just – that's why I say I don't put a lot into conference tournaments. I mean, it matters for the smaller schools, but I don't know. I think it's all backward. I think it's totally backward right there, because there's not another sport that bases everything on that one weekend. And, of course, that's NCAA
what I think so
for you.
Too.
It's NCAA for you. They're pretty backward on a lot of stuff. So,
yeah, for sure. William's saying that he said that Colorado's a 6 seed. That's interesting. If Tennessee's a 7 or 8 seed and Colorado's a 6 seed, didn't Tennessee beat them at the beginning of the season? I think they got similar
ranked, though. I mean, I know they're pretty far into their conference tournament right now because they beat USC last night. So.
Yeah, but they have about similar records, I think. I can see what their record is.
I could see it's been
22-7.
That's a pretty good record. So.
Yeah, 22-7.
Well, they played a bit more, but I could see it's been a 7, possibly. But I really think 5-6.
We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I do think, if I'm not mistaken, because the way the NCAA tournament is being played this year, they always have that first 4 in, or they started that a few years ago. But I saw something where that used to be on a Tuesday night, and then the actual the first round or whatever would start on Thursday. But it looked like what I was looking at, that the first 4 play-in games were going to be held on Thursday, and then the actual tournament first round starts on Friday this year. So the first round games are played on Friday and Saturday, and then the second round games are played on Sunday and Monday.
Really?
That's what, that's what I kind of looked up this morning. Now, I don't know if that was, that's what I just pulled up NCAA basketball bracket and was reading about it, schedule. So it looks like that if that's accurate, Tennessee would probably either play Friday or Saturday this week, or next week, and then if they win, either Sunday or Monday, depending on when that they start the tournament. So with that, so we'll just have to see. I guess tomorrow evening, I think 6 o'clock is when the selection show and the brackets are announced and everything like that. So we'll know tomorrow night. Certainly what Tennessee's seeding is and when that they'll be playing next time, and we'll see if this basketball team can put a run together and see if they can make a deep run here with this tournament and stuff like that and everything. Y'all have anything else you want to add to this disappointing Saturday afternoon on Rocky Top? Tennessee falls 73-68 to Alabama in the semifinals of the SEC tournament.
If things trend the way that they have the last month, then we drop this one. We're due for a win, so we'll open up the first round with a win, and then go from there.
Yeah,
all going to depend on the draw, and we've said it. Who knows which team shows up? Hopefully, the way the last 3 games have gone, they've showed up and played pretty well. Last 3 games. If they continue at, I think they can get to the second weekend.
Yeah.
If we've seen them. The year they went to the Elite Eight, they were a 6 seed.
Yeah.
So it's 6 seeds not the end of the world, and
no, it's all about
neither's
matchups.
a 7. Yeah, neither's 7. If they even dropped to a 7, I mean, I think once you get past the 1 line, everybody's pretty beatable. You just don't want to end up with Gonzaga, but I don't think they're going to be on Gonzaga unless they somehow get some shaft and end up in an 8-9 game with Gonzaga. Then I think they'll have a good shot to get to the second weekend. They're the only other team. I don't think I'd want to see Oklahoma State. They're playing well right now.
I don't think I'd want to see I don't want to see Iowa.
Iowa.
I think Garza would
eat us alive.
He'd eat us alive because he's a true big man, and we cannot match up well with that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the Big Ten, I'd be interested to see with them how we'd match up with them. But yeah, I don't want Cunningham, Oklahoma State. I think they're going to be a team that makes a big. If they may be the one to challenge Gonzaga for that undefeated.
They beat Baylor last night, didn't they? Or
they did.
Yesterday?
They did, yeah. And Baylor's lost a couple games here recently.
Yeah, so recently, didn't they? Yeah.
I mean, 2 games, big deal, but it's not the time to start losing games.
Yeah.
This time of year either. And but I think depending on the draw, I think you can see his team get into the second weekend.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, but we appreciate everybody joining in today after Tennessee's loss in the semifinals. But if you haven't already, we appreciate it if you would hit the like button or smash it if you would do so. And then also be sure, if you're not a subscriber to Talkin VAWLS Network, if you'd subscribe to it, that way that you'll know anytime that we go live with any kind of live shows or any kind of videos like that. I'm sure that Indy Kid Dauber and myself will be covering the NCAA tournament next week whenever Tennessee does play. I'm sure that we'll be coming on live at some point in time, depending on if it's an afternoon game. We'll probably have to wait until the evening once we get home from work and everything like that. But certainly appreciate everybody jumping in here today, and we'll see what ends up happening as far as Selection Sunday tomorrow. We'll see where Tennessee ends up, and we'll go from there with it. But be sure to like and subscribe, and whenever that we do go live, you'll be notified with that. But until then, hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see everybody soon. Go Big Orange.
Songs how like me, poets and an art. moonlit smash. Broken in